I think people buy from people. So I don't always think it's the companies they're looking at. For me, I think, oh, there's Mags, I'll go over and have a chat with Mags, I'll have a catch up, and then they'll buy candles from me. My name is Mags Ralston, and I'm the founder of Isle of Lewis Candle Company. And it's a small family business based on the Outer Hebrides on the beautiful Isle of Lewis. We moved to the island in 2008. We lived in Coatbridge, just outside Glasgow, and my husband was offered a job working with the Coast Guard Agency. So he left first to set up here, and I had a business. I was a childminder before, and I closed up the business, sold the house, and then we all came to the island. The island community is absolutely crucial to the survival of the business, and to be honest with you, we wouldn't have made it without their support. I would say probably about 95% of our sales are done on the island, and the rest are probably people who have been here on holiday and are now buying the products online. It was an absolute fluke. My friend phoned me up and someone was selling jars, glass jars, and she phoned me up and she said she couldn't make it. She said, is there any chance you could go along and collect these jars for me? And do you need any? Well, I didn't need any. I didn't need 120 jars, but she did, and she loves them and she collects buttons, and she's a crafter. So I went round, and when I was there, the man said to me that he was going to be selling his business next, and I asked what his business was, and he took me into his shed, and it was full of candle making items. And I don't know what it was, because I was looking for something. I tried making tweed and I wasn't very successful at that, because you have to know what you're doing with Harris tweed, and you really have to know how to work it, and I didn't, and that was okay. And I'd made jewellery as well, and I loved that, but it didn't fulfil the kind of need that I had in me to do something different. And I had £200 in the bank from some money I had in, and I said to him, okay, £200, and he looked at me and he said, what do you mean? And I said, well, £200 and I'll buy all your candle making items. And he went, okay, that's the deal. So I ran into town to get the money, and I came back out again and I gave him the £200. But on the way back, I had been really worried that he wouldn't have an income when he left the island and went to the mainland. And I said, look, are you sure you want to go ahead with this? Because I don't want to deprive you of an income. And he said, no, this is something that I want to give up. So that's really how I started. And there was boxes and boxes of stuff, with wax, and we had, so this was one of them, but we had loads. I had loads of items in it, and I was so excited. I was just ready to burst, because I felt as if I'd found my thing, and I think we all strive through life wanting to find our thing, and I was so happy. And I went home and I put it in my husband's shed, and I went into the house, and my husband said to me, you've been up to something, Mags. And I went, no I haven't, but I was puffing and panting. He said, yes you have. And he says, what have you done? Well, as I was laughing, I said, actually I have. And he says, what have you done? I bought a candle making business. And he said, have you ever made a candle? And I said, no Jamie, I've never made a candle in my life. And that's how it started. I got a lot of help, I really did. I got a lot of help locally. One of the local schools was closing down, and I used their dinner trays. So I used that for putting the candles on when they're curing and when I'm making them. Worktops, everything. You can look round this room and you'll see the amount of people that have helped me. Oh heavens. Do you know it's funny too, because when we just started doing candles. I think most people start off like that, and then the whole thing grows arms and legs. So candles, wax melts, diffusers, we make polish for joiners as well, because they have specific needs or specific ways they want them made, so we do that as well. Tea lights, soaps, cupboard fresheners, car diffusers, and of course the biggest thing is the chessmen for the National Museum of Scotland. So for them we make kings and queens, which is I'm absolutely delighted with to even do this order. So this actually started off when I first started making candles, because as I said, this was in the items I bought. and I contacted the National Museum of Scotland and asked if they would be interested in me supplying their products for them. I'd have to say my husband thought it was a really silly idea, and he said, "Who do you think you are?" But the reality is, my granny always said, the worst somebody can say to you is no, and that isn't even the worst thing ever. Well, that's quite difficult, because I get so engrossed in the business and products and how to make everything. I think there's a lot of research, and I don't think people that start making candles realise how much research you have to do. I mean, we were asked to do a product for locally, and we had to research how we would cut bottles. We had to research the best wax for the bottles, the best wicks. So there's a huge testing process involved in candle making, and they can come to the table one day and say, "Maz, can order just say a product next week," and the reality is we have to buy in this fragrance oil, we have to test it. So I don't think people realise that a candle can't just appear. There's a process behind making a candle, and you have to test it, and everything has to be safe. I think that we're really happy to do wholesale locally, and that works out quite well, because what it does is it gives you an income straight away, and I can use that money to buy from suppliers, so I can actually use the money to buy in more stock. So that's really good. With doing the craft markets, I just love them, and agricultural shows, because at these events you know what sells and what doesn't sell, you know what people like, so you get a really good feel for what you maybe missed, or what people aren't so fond on. So therefore you can spend any money where you can actually move to a different area and work on different products and work on different scents, which is brilliant actually. So it's a really good insight into what's happening. Well, there are struggles. I think the biggest struggle is as a family business, you depend on your family to help you. I'm quite lucky though. I mean, Kirsty was with me from the very beginning and helped me set up. Scott, my son, came in and did some photography for me. He helped as well, he helps at big events, and my sister-in-law helps. My husband kind of deals with the legal aspect of things, so he'll come in and he'll look at, I mean, there's the Federation of Candle Makers as well, so he'll check that up. I'm very up to date with everything anyway. So, and there's CLPs that need to be done, there's testing records, batch numbers. So there's a whole load of things that we as a family deal with as well, and we do our own CLPs as well. It was a huge impact. In fact, it almost closed us down, to be honest with you. I would cry.
Running a small business in a rural economy over the last few years has been very difficult. There has been some significant events which have impacted on the business. The most major would be COVID. That had a significant impact due to supply chain issues. There was the lockdowns, there became a shortage of raw materials, packaging. Some of our suppliers really hiked up their fees or went out of business due to COVID. So overall it was delays and increased costs, but there was also changes in customer behaviour. We lost a huge part of our selling network through the closure of local markets, craft markets and community shows and fairs, agricultural events and similar type of events. So we moved into just concentrating on local deliveries and sales catering for gifts, reminders, but most of it was also done online as well, a lot of online deliveries. There was clearly a decrease in demand as priorities shifted due to costs of everyday items increased. And also a lot of people who either were on reduced hours or lost their jobs due to COVID. So things like bespoke, handmade candles, wax melts, soaps and diffusers were classed as luxury items, and people could no longer afford to buy them. Some examples of costings that increased. A box of wax in 2019 was £75. That wax is now £125.79, an increase of 67%. One of our most popular fragrance oils has gone from £49.85 to £93.48, excluding VAT or delivery. The overall increase on this product is 87%. And also our recyclable tins, which we use for our candles, has gone up from £43 to £58.80, an increase of 37%. Now these increases have been absorbed by the business. We've tried to keep our goods at a reasonable price for the local economy, as we realise that we have a strong local customer base and we didn't want to pass on huge costs to them.
I think we're still we're still recovering from the back end of COVID and everything, so, and that was a real hit for us because COVID had a huge impact. It had an effect on the supply chain. There was loads of delays, there was people paid off, there was shortages of even your basic supplies like boxes and everything like that. And even when you were buying in supplies, it was so expensive. So I think we're still recovering from that, to be honest with you, and that'll probably take us a while. But and I think as well the price of everything's shot up. It's a very competitive market as well. So, but I think we're holding our own and I think we're doing really well. And I think as long as we can keep our customers happy and we can supply the best products, that's going to keep me happy. Was that okay?
I was just taking a coffee break. I wasn't.
Oh, you're not taking it?
No, I was. But yeah, I was like, okay, we're going.
Okay, Mum.